What's up, dude?
Hey man, how you doing?
Tired. How are you?
Same.
Always tired.
Standard.
Yeah. Why are we always tired?
Why indeed?
Let's find out.
Being tired seems to be the default state for modern day adults.
If you're dragging yourself around and never really seem to feel well rested, no matter how much you sleep, you might want to stick around for this one.
We're gonna go over some of the reasons why you may feel fatigued all the time, as well, and more importantly, as solutions to get you that energy back.
As usual, Vic and Julian here. We are in BFit Miami Lakes, our favorite place to be, where all the coolest people in the world work out. You could be one of them if you just come by. And today we're talking about why we're so dang tired all the time.
Why are we so damn tired?
There's a plethora of reasons, and let's go into them now.
Numero uno.
You're not sleeping enough. Go to bed earlier. Stop watching Netflix. Get off your phone.
Yep, definitely. And this is both quantity of sleep and
Quality.
sleep quality. I think are both, something that most people struggle with.
Yeah. And the quality is one that I think people overlook because they think I'm in bed 8 hours and like that's enough. Like, no, you have to be aware of what quality, like, do you wake up feeling rested? If not, then you probably aren't getting good quality sleep.
Yeah. And this is a huge topic that, like we said in another podcast, we're going to do a whole episode on sleep.
This
But
is it?
this isn't it.
Oh.
This is not it.
Oh,
So stick around for yet
another one.
another time that we're going to mention sleep.
We're going to tell you to sleep better.
But just one of the main reasons I think why people aren't sleeping well is because we have poor sleep, bedtime habits, I would say. The blue screens, the phone, the Netflix, the watching TV. We're overstimulated. So I think that's we're going to go into solutions at the end, but just since we're going over reasons why you might be sleeping bad, I think that it's pretty obvious that most people aren't doing like a proper getting yourself primed and relaxed and ready for the body to just fall asleep.
Yeah, we all have our comforts. You like to, watch TikTok or what have you, whatever on your phone, but we really got to eliminate that, especially in bed is crazy to me.
Yeah. You got to have rules for yourself not to do things like that.
And they don't have to be so rigid. Mine is a very lax bedtime routine, but like you said,
Still a routine.
Still a routine. I'm not on my phone late. My lights are not on. My overhead lights aren't on.
And of course, there are legitimate reasons why people may not be sleeping, whether they have a lot of responsibilities, a very stressful job, kids. There are so many legit reasons why hey, it's not that easy. But everyone can improve. I'm a firm believer in that, and that's what I want to talk about at the end of this podcast.
Yeah, just making these little changes because like you just said, it's not easy. Like some people are gonna look at this and be like, oh, easier said than done. Like go to bed earlier, get better sleep, but I have a lot going on. So we're gonna try to help you guys manage that and find some solutions that we can maybe meet in the middle.
Yeah. Another reason might be poor nutrition, or bad eating habits. Things that come to mind would be eating too much highly processed foods, eating too much sugar, not drinking enough water, so dehydration. Those are all, believe it or not, reasons why not only are you not sleeping well and resting well, but you might be crashing in the middle of the day.
The crashing, I understand. I know that's a big part especially with sugar consumption and caffeine consumption. But can you explain to them, because I completely understand, why eating properly, how that helps you sleep? What does that have to do with the other? If I eat French fries, I can't go to bed?
It's not just sleep. It's just it's managing fatigue throughout the day, right? So certain foods, which we're going to talk about at the end, are much better for managing, for example, blood sugar. And what happens is, let's say I eat 3 donuts for breakfast.
Yummy.
Krispy Kreme, am I right? But if I eat 3 donuts for breakfast, my blood sugar is gonna spike, my insulin's gonna spike, and then it's gonna, the same way it went up, it's gonna go down, and that's when you feel that crash. If you ever have a lot of carbohydrates, you eat a pasta meal or something like that, you're going to crash after. It's almost for sure that you're gonna crash. So throughout the day, your energy is dipping constantly, whereas other types of food that we'll disclose later are gonna keep you a little bit more stable throughout the day, more mental clarity, a little bit more energy, and it's a evenly distributed energy. It's not I have energy now and then crash. And that's what happens with energy drinks. We try to hack all this stuff, which is a big problem in modern life where, I'm low on energy, no problem. I just jack up the caffeine, and caffeine drinks usually come with sugar. If it's a Starbucks drink or if it's a Monster or an energy drink, something like that. And now you're getting, you're getting the illusion,
Michael,
of energy because you're gonna crash.
And even if they don't contain sugar, sugar-free Red Bull, there's chemicals in these things that
God knows
what it's doing to your body. So whether you're getting a sugar-free one or not, you should still watch what you eat. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm guessing the foods you're gonna mention are all natural and they're all
For the most part.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Another reason you might find yourself tired and dragging all the time is because your body is used to the lifestyle that you're giving it. So if you're living a sedentary lifestyle, you're not moving around a lot, you're just kind of sitting like, man, your body kind of gets used to that, and it finds no reason to actually like get this quality rest. You're always dragging ass in your daily life, so like, why wouldn't we just do that all the time, you know?
Yeah, and it's a vicious cycle because you don't move, so you have less energy, so you don't move, or you move less, so you have less energy, and it's literally just a vicious cycle.
It's digging yourself into a hole. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah, and it's just like you said, if you're sitting all day, guess what your body's gonna adapt to doing? Sitting. It's gonna restructure itself to being a sitting machine.
A perfectly sitting machine.
And of course, the opposite of that is somebody who's moving all the time. The body will also adapt to that. And guess what? That person has a lot more energy.
People who work out, people with active jobs like UPS people or like trainers, something like that, for the most part, tend to get a little bit better rest and have a little more energy throughout the day because they don't really get those breaks and like sit and chill. You're moving all the time. So your brain and your body are adapted to that kind of like lifestyle. And then when you actually do sit down to rest, it's like, okay, we got to recover for what's about to happen the next day.
And by the way, your body was meant to move. So if you're talking about like what's optimal, it's not sitting in a chair. Even chairs themselves are unnatural.
That's why we sit on balls.
Your body was meant to move. So those people that are moving all the time, they're doing something that's more conducive to good health, as obvious as that might seem.
Another reason is chronic stress. People are stressed. We live in a stressful society. There's a lot of pressure, whether it's financial, environmental, your family,
Who's going to win the presidential election?
Who's going to win the election? Oh my God, all these things are.
I hope it's.
I'm going to over. And all these things are kind of pulling us in every direction. When your mind is not able to rest, then we know your body's going to feel fatigued.
Yeah, we talk about stress all the time, and there's different types of stress. There's if you stress your body strategically, it's good, right? Your body creates a good response to that. You become more resilient.
Balance.
Chronic stress is objectively bad. You have higher levels of cortisol. You have a lot of, physiologically, you're in this like state that you're not supposed to be in all the time. You know, stress wasn't created for that, you know, in your body from a biological level. So again, it's just an unnatural state. And unfortunately, most people live in that state all the time, and it's not good. It leads to disease. It leads to you being tired all the time. You're not being able to rest properly. Burnout culture is a real thing.
We'll
So you just grind it out, man.
Yeah, it's like you become a little ball of anxiety, and how are you gonna rest if you're always go, like there's no time for you to actually like, hey, let me relax, recover, and anticipate these other challenges because life is full of challenges.
And all these things that we're saying relate to each other. For example, the constant connectivity and being on your phone and stuff, if you're seeing all the world's bad news, if you're on Twitter or if you're on Instagram or whatever, on TikTok, and you're seeing all the things that are going on, you don't think that's going to add more stress to you? That's why I always recommend like a good wellness plan always has to involve managing your time on your phone and your other devices. You can't just go willy-nilly like whatever as much as possible, because it's not good. I'm sure all of you can agree with me that the more time you spend scrolling or doom scrolling, the worse you feel.
Yeah, and that also goes with the whole comparison culture that we have in this day and age of you're looking at people on social media. This person's body's better than mine. This guy's always on vacation. This guy has a nicer car than me. Those things kind of pull us in every direction, and it's hard to stay focused and stay centered on your own life, which I'm sure is pretty great in and of itself.
If you have the privilege of watching this podcast, it's probably pretty good.
Okay, so we always like to give you guys practical advice, and today we're going to split it up into 2 sections. Obviously, this is a fitness podcast, so one of the sections is going to be some fitness solutions that the people can take home and digest, and we're going to start with those.
All right. So numero uno would be, we already talked about being sedentary. This is the opposite. Add more physical activity to your day and your lifestyle. And I'm not talking about exercise here. This is independent of exercise or a supplementary. So I think we should think about it as, how active am I throughout the day, right? How long am I sitting versus walking around, stretching, moving, doing things that require actual movement. So there are so many little tips for this, and unfortunately, a lot of the world it's all about convenience. So you have to put yourself in the position. For example, I hate seeing people fighting for the parking spot that's closest to the venue. Like, freaking walk, man. You barely have to walk, especially in Miami. People don't walk here. Just park a little bit further and walk a little bit more.
Yeah, you would think that it's like miles away, but it's really like
it's
20 feet.
Ridiculous. But so that's one of them. Another would be like taking the stairs instead of the elevator. If you work at a place that you have the option, take the stairs. You'd be surprised how much more that does for your physical activity, burning calories, even a slight little workout for your legs. There's so many little things that you can do. If you work at a desk, get up periodically, do a little bit of stretching, maybe another, walk somewhere, come back. Walking meetings, I think, are phenomenal if you have the luxury to do that. And it's great because it actually helps you with
the
like,
clarity of mind.
blood flow to your brain and all that good stuff. So
that's funny because we see around here, we work in this beautiful complex in Miami Lakes, Be Fit, obviously, and we see all the time here. There's a garbage can right there, we see. Yeah, right there. Actually, you've never noticed it?
No.
And we see people taking their trash. You've seen
God.
it. They put it on the hood of their car and they drive
trash.
it there. Come on, guys. The shopping center is not more than 50 feet long. Just walk it there.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
But again, it's part of the culture. We live in a sedentary culture.
Yeah.
It takes conscious effort to, unless you're one of those people that are like natural movers and they just move around all the time.
Like our mother.
But you have to be that type that's like a little bit more, no, I'm going to park a little bit further out. No, I'm going to take the stairs.
Yeah. And it's not something like, don't think about it like, oh, wait, let me take the furthest parking spot. Just park somewhere and walk, man. It's not that big of a, like, don't overthink it.
Yeah. I guess people listening from other cities, which I think that's a big plus of like bigger cities where walking is part of the culture. Number one, people tend to be thinner there statistically, right, on average.
European countries.
And they're taking their 10, 12, 15,000 steps a day. So a lot of them, you realize, wow, these people almost don't have to exercise as much because their non-exercise physical activity is so high.
Yep.
And so what the hell does that have to do with not being tired, right? You might be wondering, well,
aren't you more tired because you're moving more?
Exactly. Well, that's what's counterintuitive about it is, again, the body adapts to the demands placed on it. So if you are that type of person that moves often, guess what? The body has to figure out a way to provide consistent energy, and you're going to have more energy by virtue of moving more.
It sounds like something like you said, it's counterintuitive, but it's crazy how it's like your body knows you're going to need this energy, so it's got to, hey, I got to rest.
Yep.
So as soon as you sit or lay, your body's like, all right, it's rest time, as opposed to like, hey, we're just sitting again, like we do all the time.
Yeah, I think that's why people report, like, when we start training someone, they'll report that once they start working out, they sleep better.
Yeah.
And it's because that the body requires that deep rest to recover and rebuild so that, guess what, now I'm better prepared for the next time that you make me lift these heavy ass weights.
You asshole. Number two, shouldn't surprise anyone, it's strength training. We say it all the time.
Bread
it's like,
and butter, baby.
It's like the magic pill to fix all things is strength training. And how could something so difficult make you more rested?
Well, we just talked about how the body would require more deep rest to recover, but the other thing is that you are actually strengthening and working on these muscles that are not just the glamour muscles, but like your stabilizers, your postural muscles. If you notice, like Olympic weightlifters, people that are like very, very fit that lift weight tend to have good posture, or like when you look at them, you're like, that person works out.
Yeah.
And it's because they've worked on those muscles so much. And those are the muscles that are responsible for when you're going on a walk, when you're going up a flight of stairs, carrying a bag or something. Those muscles are turning on all the time. So you're working on muscle endurance, you're working on the muscles strengthening themselves, as well as making your bones and every other structure stronger, more resilient. And that just makes you a more energetic, more capable human being.
I think one that's overlooked is active recovery days, because people get into a fitness routine and they either go all in or all out, and they're like, oh, I'm working out every day, I'm going super hard every day. And
it just happened with our challenge.
It just happened, and they're neglecting these recovery days. And these recovery days are not only good for mental clarity, but they help you improve your blood flow. They help you with your circulation. They help you to prevent all this soreness. They help you get ready for the next difficult day of strength training. So as opposed to just going super difficult, find that one day to do some yoga, maybe do some meditation, mobility work. All this stuff is going to help with your mental clarity, and overall is going to make you, at the end of the day, feel well rested, because we talked about earlier, that constant brain being turned on and that stress is what's preventing you from resting when you finally do get to take a break.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm watching this documentary now of like the top 5 of the top NBA players, and it's really interesting because it goes deep into like the away from basketball, like what they do in their everyday life, and every single one of them without fail is super focused on active recovery, because they understand, of course, they're doing way more activity than the average person, but they need to balance that with body work, with mobility, with sauna, with cryotherapy, with all these other things that the average person probably doesn't think about too much. But for them, it's like, I need to do this to balance out all the hard stuff, and it's the only way to keep my body going optimally for a very long time.
And I'm glad you said that very long time, because that active recovery day and making that so important is what makes this journey so sustainable. Like,
Exactly.
otherwise, if you go too hard, we see all the time.
You will burn out.
You're gonna burn out. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. And then people tell you, you don't need a rest day. Burnout is for the weak. Yeah. Okay, whatever, tough guy. You freaking tough it out yourself. But for us normal people, that active recovery day could really go a long way.
Yeah, that's the same guy that like his shoulder's been messed up for 6 years.
He tore his pec
refuses to get an MRI and
Yeah.
just go, well, I'm just gonna muscle through it. But
Yeah.
you just become a less capable version of yourself through the years because you're not taking care of yourself.
Yeah.
It was super interesting to watch like LeBron talk about it, because if anyone could be
The king of longevity.
yeah, longevity, 20 years of playing professional basketball.
Being the top
and
three.
he credits that to all that body work. You know, he talks about that myth of like how he spends, I don't know how many millions on his body. He's like, I don't know where the hell that came from, but it stands true that he does really take care. And now what's really cool is that the younger guys are, which is something that in professional sports wasn't a thing before. Everybody would just tough it out. But now these young guys are learning from the older guys. They're like, hey, if you want to be in this league for a long time, you better be doing your body work. You better be doing all these things that are not as sexy or glamorous, but you absolutely need it.
Yep. So that was the fitness part of the solution aspect. Now we're just going to some lifestyle changes that you can make to kind of help you feel a little more well-rested.
Okay, so first, let's talk about sleep. So having good sleep hygiene, having good habits. At the end of the day, it all comes down to habits, like always. You know, part of the big secret to somebody who has good energy is the fact that they tend to go to sleep at around the same time every day, wake up at around the same time. They do that consistently so the body adapts to it, right? But beyond having, so I would say that step one is have some sort of routine. I know all the 20-something-year-olds are like, oh, come on, man. Oh, you can't go out on a Thursday. I mean, not for us old folks. But, okay, try to have as consistent as possible of a schedule, because your body really likes that. It helps regulate your circadian rhythms, which we didn't get into, but that's a big part of why energy levels might be out of whack, okay, your circadian rhythm. So
who's circadian? Is he a knight?
Yeah, he lived in the medieval times in the 1300s, and
interesting.
He was the king of
He was Sir
Scotland.
Keo's brother.
Ooh,
yeah,
circadian.
Yeah.
Beyond that, little habits. We talked about this before, but let's go over it again. The phone is the big killer, right? So put your phone away. There should be I'm sure you have the same thing, but I have like mine set up so that my bedtime is at a certain time. It starts to shut itself off, and it'll tell you, hey, your bedtime is in 15 minutes. Start basically winding down.
Yep.
Either way, I've already made it a habit to kind of put the phone on do not disturb very early and just get it away from me. You know, I'm never using my phone at night.
So don't text me at night.
Don't text me at night. I won't see it until the morning. But I say the phone's number one because I know that that's what people are struggling with. They just can't help it.
We know we're not saying it's the most important one. We're just saying it's the one that we know all of you guys are doing.
Exactly.
So things like, the phone, what other ones? The overhead lighting.
TV. I'm sure most people watch TV before you go to sleep.
TV, the caffeine. A lot of people struggle with the caffeine. They say not to drink caffeine after like noon or something like that?
No, you can go a little bit later, but it has a 6-hour half-life, I believe. So you basically want to have at least 6 or more hours. Now, there's a lot of freaks out there, like old Cuban ladies, that will have a cafecito before bed and they can just go to sleep, which is crazy because I'm definitely not like that. I have a cutoff for caffeine. My cutoff is 3 p.m., but if you really, really want to get good sleep, the experts say don't have it in the afternoon at all.
I was gonna say
coffee only in the morning.
I was gonna say that because I could drink caffeine literally and just go to bed right away. But I still think people like me and people are like, oh, it doesn't do anything to me. I think it does do something to you. You're just not as aware of it as you may think.
If you did a sleep study, you would know.
Yeah, I think you're just not aware of it. You're probably going to bed with a higher heart rate. All these things that we know are not conducive to resting.
You can't cheat your physiology. Like caffeine does things in your body that you cannot, you can't go against. So yes, like you said, heart rate will go up, certain physiological processes that you don't want when you're sleeping. You don't want to be alert at all. And on the contrary, you want to be relaxed. So with that being said, you just mentioned it briefly, overhead lighting is pretty bad, and the brighter it is, the worse it is. So a lot of people, I used to do this, but now I have a kid and I can't be that, Mr. Biohack. But I used to strategically not have lights on overhead. I have all these little lights that are like just, what do you call those? Ambient lighting.
Yeah.
I know people that do like floor lighting because it's better for it to come from the floor, but it should be like a yellowish, like less harsh light, because our eyes, once these lights come on, our eyes start to see it as like, oh, I need to wake up. It's sunlight. Daytime. Yeah. Again, it's a circadian rhythm response. So all these things, they seem like little things, but they all compound to you being in the right state.
Definitely. I wear a miner's helmet before bed. Just put on the little miner helmet with the light here, and that's what I use.
There you go.
Use that to
Okay.
pee too.
No, that's a great idea. Okay, now give me one of those.
iloveminers.com.
I love Fort Minor, and they're one-hit wonder.
Ugh.
You're
ready? TNT playoffs, 2002. Those are all we're all about. It's like this, y'all. 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, and 50% pain.
100% reason to remember the name, BFit Bros Podcast. Okay, second tip would be nutrition, right? We already talked about bad eating habits. Let's talk about good eating habits. So first and foremost, you want balanced meals, right? You want a nice healthy mix of your big macros, your proteins, fats, and carbs.
Big Mac?
Big macros.
Oh,
that's wishful thinking.
Shit. I was like, I got it. Don't worry. I'm good.
Big Mac, no problem.
Rose.
But yeah, you want balance. Why? Because too many carbs, you create a response that you don't want. It's not the same with fats or protein, but just for the sake of simplicity, you do want balance. You definitely want some good healthy fats and protein. That's gonna help with not just like a slower digestion, which actually helps stabilize your blood sugar and stabilize your energy, but also keep you full a little bit longer, keep you like that satiety. People report with high protein and high fat, healthy fats of course, more mental clarity and less crashes. So it's the simple processed carbs that are gonna kill you and the high sugar that are gonna make you crash like crazy. So basically trying to avoid those and being a little bit more mindful about the balance of your diet. Which again, if you're working out and you're having this lifestyle, it's gonna go hand in hand with everything else, recovering from your workouts, building muscle and maintaining lean mass, helping with metabolism, helping with hormonal support. All these things go hand in hand. You can't really skip one.
Yeah, it's all a pie graph. Like if you can't, you're
It's
gonna
a
leave a big.
circle.
Yeah, it's a circle. You can't just leave an empty spot in the pie graph. Like
Exactly.
you gotta supplement
like
your
poor
workouts.
nutrition is going to
Affect
hinder your workout, which is going to hinder your sleep, or
yeah.
your sleep is
And
going to
then it's
hinder
all
your...
just-
Exactly. And just like sleep, this comes down to creating habits. And sometimes, yes, it's a little redundant. It's a little boring because I find, and it's not just me saying this, but like all bodybuilders, all physique competitors, all athletes, they try to keep like, I know what I'm eating pretty much every day. And that's going to help you with not having to think about it, because there's nothing worse. And I'm sure you guys can attest where like, I didn't plan lunch. Oh, I usually plan lunch, and I didn't plan lunch, and I'm busy at work, and now
Jersey Mike's.
The team is going to wherever in the corner, and I'm just gotta grab whatever, and that screwed you right there.
Yep.
Like preparation is key, so just be mindful of that stuff. Try to either meal prep or make extra food when you cook at home, and be prepared so that you don't run into that like, all right, now I gotta. Or worse, you're starving and now you're just gonna want to eat like whatever.
Yeah, or you're starving and I got a gym. I gotta go to the gym at 4 p.m. I got my appointment with my trainer, and now you're nutrient deficient for this workout, and you're gonna probably give
Annette Sanchez.
you're gonna have a bad workout or a worse workout than you could have had if you were properly fueled. Our clients that see the best results are the ones that have these meals prepared. Like you said, they're usually a little redundant. Like one of our, like Raymond, always eats the same thing every day. Doesn't get bored of it, luckily for him. But he always has his meals ready. He doesn't give any reason to.
He knows exactly how much he's getting too.
Yeah.
So it's one less thing to think about.
Yeah, he knows it's gonna be there. His food's there. He's gonna get that fuel he needs, and that's it. Like it's out of his mind.
You know who? This dude that just won the Mr. Olympia for the 6th time in a row.
Retired.
I heard him in a podcast, and guess what he does? Exactly what Raymond does. He's like, I eat the same thing every day. Now, that might sound dreadfully boring.
It's a blessing to some if you can't get bored of it.
When I told my wife, she's like, oh my God. But the reason they do that is because they're not so concerned with like cravings and this and, well, I feel like having, no. To them, this is all like, I got a goal. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying you should all be bodybuilders and eat the same thing every day. The main idea is that I don't have to think about it. I know I'm getting the right stuff to give me the right energy for the things that I have to do to give me the right results. And it's one less thing that I have to think about. And if it means eating the same thing, then so be it. But you don't have to eat the same thing.
Some people,
you're gonna rotate between 3 or 4 different things.
Yeah, when you meal prep, instead of preparing one thing for lunch through the week, prepare 2 or 3 things.
Exactly.
It's
a little more work in the beginning, but
if you're that type of person that needs that, if you can eat the same thing every day, hey, more power to you.
Or have one of those catered meal plans that tell you how many calories you can already set up like a balanced macro ratio and all that stuff.
Do your research, because they might be exaggerating with their macros, is what I've heard. Stay hydrated. That's one. Yeah, just drink more
coffee,
water.
it's water.
Just drink more water, guys. That's it. Let's move on to the next one. The last one is going to be stress management. We talked about stress and the effect that it can have on the body and balancing good and bad stress. But now let's give you guys some tips on how you can manage this stress, because we know we live in a society that the stress is pulling us in every direction. We're little anxious balls of anxiety. So what can people do to get rid of the stress and to help them rest?
Yeah, one important thing before we give the actual strategies is that some stress is unavoidable and there's other stress that is in your control. So the first thing I would say is be aware of how much stress you're taking in and how much of that you can actually remove, because things are going to happen in life, obviously, like unexpected things that are going to stress you out. And I don't know many people that just live this careless, trust fund, live in my dad's mansion and swim in the pool every day. So unless you're one of those people, things are going to come up, your car's going to break down, somebody's going to get sick, something's going to happen, work gets crazy. But that's why it's more important than ever to the stress that it is in your control to manage that. I already talked about the phone habits, all right? But it's worth mentioning again because we're all addicted to our phones. Come on, let's face it. The most balanced people that have that equanimity that I know are not addicted to their phone. They are the types that their phone is away, they're focused on their tasks, they're very mindful about, I get home, my phone's away, I can spend time with my family, I can be mindful, I can give people the attention that they deserve. And more importantly than that, well, maybe not more importantly, that's pretty important, but it's not taking in all that stress. Like, again, you're watching kids getting bombed on the other side of the world and the presidential this, and they're going to take away our rights, and then, oh my God, and people go crazy over that. And I'm not saying you can't be informed, like it's important to be informed, but manage it. Because I promise you, if you don't manage it, it's going to stress you out like crazy, and you're just adding more fuel to that fire.
And it's overwhelming. Like you said, there's so many bad things going on in the world. I personally like to balance it out with like good news. I don't know, that's just me, but like I follow a lot of. There's actually one called. There's a good news. There's good news Instagrams, and there's good news or cute animals. Those type of things. Like I don't know. For me, they kind of like. My dogs, they just remove that stress from me. I like to have that balance, funny things. I'm just that type of person.
It's funny, my wife, we always get into like, not arguments, that's too strong of a word, but like, I always, when we're picking what we want to watch, I always want to watch like
something
dark, always. Like,
City of God.
It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me at all, but to her, she's always like, I want to watch happy things. And I'm like, TV is boring. What the hell are we going to watch that's happy? But for her, she sees it as, I'm already stressed throughout the day. I have my issues going on. I want something that like gets me freaking all hyped up, and I totally understand it. So we usually meet in the middle, but it's just funny how like different people work in different ways. All right, so that's one thing is. All right, so the other thing I would say when it comes to that awareness is, whether you keep a schedule or a journal or something like that where you're keeping track, right? Keeping track of my week, how much workload. Is there something that I could remove? Is there like somewhere that I can throw in like a spa day or a facial or something that's going to help me balance out all the other stress, Don't say it. I know.
I didn't say anything.
I can't say certain words in this podcast. But you know what I mean? It's taking literal note, and what would be the word? Assessing how your week is going,
week by week. Where can I put this time for myself?
Exactly.
Which is huge.
People don't make time. Burn out.
People don't make time for their friends anymore. Like we always make that joke of, I make the joke here. I see my clients with one of my friends. People don't make the time to go out with their friends. So you just go have a drink with an acquaintance, something like.
It's like, I'll pencil you in 2025.
Yeah. How's 2026 looking for you? So just be mindful of that. Be aware. Make plans with somebody that you like and follow through. Don't fall victim to the canceling. Like, follow through. Make that time for yourself. It's about you. Like, it's your life at the end of the day, and you shouldn't be overwhelmed with all these negative things. You should take some time for yourself.
Yeah. Again, just try to manage as much as possible, because everything else goes out the window if you don't have that awareness. And I think a lot of people don't have that awareness. They just kind of fall prey to, and I mean, we're all guilty of. I'm not speaking from like my high horse here. I'm guilty of. I'm just as addicted as anybody else. But that's why I have to be like, no.
Yeah.
Putting my phone away.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one technique. The other things you could do is like, this isn't for everyone, but if it is for you, it works wonders, which would be like little mindfulness or meditation or any type of reflection. Any type of practice that gets you away from all the clutter and the craziness and just like allows you to to slow it down, even if it sounds ridiculous, but even if it's a minute at a time. You know, like one of these books that I read once about mindfulness, it was like the little tip was when you park your car, make that a habit that when you park your car, as soon as you park the car, no matter where you're going, 1 minute, literally just, you can set a timer for 1 minute, just take some deep breaths and just be in the moment for 1 minute. It seems silly, but that's one more minute than you were doing, but just those little minutes add up. It's just, again, balancing the craziness that's going on in your mind and in the world and just slowing down for a few minutes. You know, some people like to do yoga, other people like to journal. It's all similar practices.
Yeah, just something to get your mind out of your own mind. You know what I mean? Like get all these things out of your mind. Like just some time to, like, some people might be looking at us like, are you crazy? Sit in my car without audio, without video? What are you talking about? By myself and my own thoughts?
But
terrifying.
Funny enough, I was a lot of people are used to that because they've realized this subconsciously that they need that quiet time. So I was talking to one of my clients the other day who's has a very high position, stressful job, kids, married, the whole works, hectic life. And he says, I never listen to music in my car, I never listen to podcasts, I listen to nothing. That is my meditation time. I just drive to and from work, silence.
Wow.
I'm like, yeah.
He's raw dogging his commute?
Raw dogging his commute.
Oh.
But it just goes to show how that is so necessary. He realized it. Like maybe it was conscious or maybe it wasn't. But like you said it jokingly, but it's true. If you've ever tried meditation, you realize how much chatter there is in your head incessantly. It's just like, when you
That's why I like that cloud
try
method.
to not think for 20 seconds.
No, I can't.
It's impossible.
That's why the cloud method is the one that when I was meditating would work for me. That you have a thought and you just let it pass.
Yep.
Because I couldn't stop the thoughts at all. And we're not saying this is for everyone. Like he said, I personally, meditation doesn't really work for me. So for me, my time to myself is that 15-minute drive with my podcast. Like that's in and of itself
your way of getting out of your mind is by focusing on something else. Yeah. That's not triggering you or not.
Exactly.
Evoking
so
some sort of...
try different things, guys. We're not saying each one of these is going to work for you. Just try different things. Mira, se acaso le dije el diablo.
Coño. The other thing that I like to recommend, it's something that I got from James Clear, the habits guy, is he calls it like habit stacking, right? So let's say you like the sauna, right? Because it's good with active recovery, all these other benefits. That could be your meditation time. 10 minutes in the sauna.
Yeah, 10 minutes in the sauna doesn't have to be 10 minutes in the sauna. That's it.
Yeah, maybe you put some spa music, but like you're getting like killing a bunch of birds with one stone there. So
I like that metaphor.
There's a lot of things that you can do habit stacking that's like, oh, this is good for me in like a ton of ways.
Yep.
You know, for a lot of people, it's, if you have kids, it's that quality time with your kids does get you away from like, you're not thinking about your emails when you're like bathing your kid and interacting with them.
And they're being cute and funny.
Yeah, taking them to the park and if you're taking them to the park and then you're doing something active. So again, it just, all these things stack on
bunch
each other.
of birds.
Yeah.
So many birds.
On a little nest.
Birds. Wow. That's a dark visual.
And the last thing I'll say on stress management is the same way that you're managing and assessing, like let's say on a week-to-week basis, you can do that on a like quarterly basis where I would make it a point to take a trip, disconnect, turn off your social media or get off of Wi-Fi for like 24 hours or 48 hours, like just go on a staycation or a little like local vacation. But I find that incredibly rejuvenating. You just went on a vacation. Like, don't you feel better mental clarity?
Oh, yeah.
You're away from it all.
Yeah, you're ready to come back to work with a different attitude. Everything
100%.
is like, all the things that were kind of like on you don't feel as stressful. You're kind of just like, okay, I can do all this. Like everything seems manageable.
Yeah, you need periodic breaks.
Absolutely. That burnout is very real.
Yep. Okay, so some... Okay,
oh, no way.
Okay, so wrapping this up, it really all comes down to habits. Assessing your life and being like, what habits, what things am I doing in my everyday life that are contributing to this poor energy, these poor sleeping habits, this stress? What is it that I can first cut? Because a lot of this is about elimination. Yep. Eliminate or change that is contributing to my poor energy levels.
Yeah, once you figured out what you need to remove or change, then you can start implementing these solutions, start adding some of these little tricks and tips and seeing which one, because we said earlier, they're not all for everyone. So see which ones work for you. You might love meditation, you don't know it. You might love yoga. So once you've removed the negative, start adding these little positive tips, and you're gonna see how you feel much more energized throughout the day. It might not happen all at once, but over time it will come to fruition.
All these little habits will compound to a more energetic, more of somebody with more vitality.
And guess what? Energy and vitality makes you happier, and isn't that like
It's a
kind of what we all want?
positive reinforcement cycle.
Yeah.
So.
With that being said, guys, we're always helping you. We're here to help. So any topics that you feel like you need help with, any conversations, you could leave us a message, you could leave us a comment, DM us, whatever. We're always here for you guys. So with that being said, thanks for listening to another episode of the BFit Bros podcast.
I'm going to go take a nap and work on my energy.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Again?